sustain. We want you all not to have to come here for food, not to have to come here. Sustain the families, sustain the organization. So that is why we are calling out for Atlanta today to help us, help others, to help us sustain families, and to help us sustain the organization. That is our now strategic plan, and that is why we're here. And the bottom line is, if someone is going to line up at 6:30 in the morning and wait for 4 hours for food, what is the shape of our city? What is the shape of our community? And organizations like Jose Feed the Hungry, if they stop existing, where will you go? Where will you go? So we have to survive. We have to stay open, but we can't do it without an immediate influx of cash and without an immediate influx of food and supplies in our food bank. With food prices inflating by 18% and oil prices going up tremendously, over $145, $48 a barrel, has called truck deliveries to cut back on donating goods. There has also been a 23% increase in requests for foods, while donation of foods are down by more than 33% from companies that give boxes and palletized foods to our food bank at Jose Feed the Hungry. Select programs at Jose Feed the Hungry are suffering because of all of this. Jose Feed the Hungry is one of the very few nonprofits who serve the working poor every day, all year long in this region from a food bank perspective. We see clients from all over the state as far as Macon, Valdosta, and Douglas County. Over 25 families per day come for food and supplies. However, with the food we have to allot, we will only be able to take in 10 to 15 families a day. And after that, we don't know what will happen. We are calling out to all churches, clubs, schools, community groups, and other organizations. Bring food or gift cards to buy toiletries, food, and supplies here to the Care Center at 1035 Donnelly Avenue. Or mail-in donations, or go to the website at josefeedthehungry.com to give. If nonprofits are not supported so that they can support the working poor, families will fold. Families will suffer more intensely than they already are, because there will be no place for them to go for help. So,
of Metro Atlanta, where there's some 150 congregations, and certainly after some 37 years of Hosea being on the scene, Feed the Hungry, it is apparent to us that the need has increased dramatically, more than tenfold, and yet the resources are decreasing. People are hurting all over this city. And as Elizabeth has said, we're talking about working poor. We're talking about people who get up and go to work, and yet just don't have enough resources. We're talking about, in my church, we're seeing people having to choose between their medicine or a loaf of bread. We're talking about children going to bed hungry at night. In this great city of ours, this international city, this city too busy to hate, we need the community to rally and respond. We need the business community to step forward. We need the philanthropic community to understand the need that exists at Hosea Feed the Hungry. We're here every day trying to do what we can. The resources are dwindling. The resources are disappearing. And these families are not going to be served unless we get an influx of increase of items and finances that will help us to help the working poor. A report just came out about homelessness in Atlanta and homelessness across this state. We're going to begin to see more of this if we don't continue to feed and to provide rent assistance and to provide other kind of financial support for the families that come to Hosea Feed the Hungry every single day. And so we're calling upon our churches, we're calling upon the business community, we're calling upon the philanthropic community to help us to feed these families, these babies who are coming here every day in the city of Atlanta. There are people going to bed hungry at night. You don't have to go to some third world country. It's happening right here in our very city. And all across this city, we're seeing nonprofits like Hosea Feed the Hungry struggling to just hold families together, struggling to just keep families intact. And so we are pleading, we are begging for the community to step forward, for those who have the resources to step forward, to help us to ensure that Atlanta, this great city, this city that we love, will continue in the tradition of Hosea Williams, will continue in the tradition of Martin Luther King Jr., and take care of those who find themselves at this state just out of resources, just unable to make ends meet. And we're not just talking about, the really marginalized. We're talking about our friends, our neighbors, the people who sit in our pews, the people we meet and walk by each and every day, who are getting up, going to a job, many at minimum wages, and just are not able to sustain their families. Hosea Feed the Hungry has been there for 37 years. The ministry has changed since 2000 and has broadened and expanded, and therefore the need has increased. And we're hoping and we're praying that the beautiful people of Atlanta, the citizens of Atlanta, will come forward, help Hosea Feed the Hungry do what it does better than almost anybody else, and that's taking care of the families who come here each and every
unmet need, but dwindling resources. Because anytime you have a tightening economy, people do not have the disposable income to give us what it is that we need to meet the increased need. This holiday dinner season was the first time that we've ever had to spend $20,000 on food. We had to spend $20,000 on food because the in-kind donations have begun to decrease, because as things tighten in corporations, as things tighten in the general economy, people are not giving even in-kind donations as they used to. Well, those in-kind donations have to be supplemented by cash. So therefore, you get a double squeeze. Not only are the in-kind donations decreasing, but then you have an increased need for a cash supplement. And this time, we raise here at Feed the Hungry 75% of our money during October and November. Well, we're in a position now where we survive off of those donations, but then the need increases, and so nobody's really giving this time of year. And the donations that we do get only average between $100 and $150. So all of these things have brought on a situation where we are not going to be able to meet the unmet. We're going to have an increase in the unmet need, and as people continue to increase every day, because I get here at 8 o'clock and people tell me I've been here since 6, and I tell them that we don't open until 10, and they tell me I know. That tells you that the situation is worsening. The unmet needs are going to increase, and the amount of people that we are going to have to turn away every day is going to increase as well. So understand that at this time, if you can't give cash, give in kind. If you can't give in kind, come by and volunteer. You've got to do something. The unmet need as it increases is going to have to be, there's going to have to be a substantial influx of proportional in-kind or cash. And both are necessary at this time. So that's basically all that I have to say.
Are there any questions? Any other comments?